Time used to feel slow when we were kids. A week felt like a season, a month felt like forever, and summer break felt like a whole separate lifetime. But now, I blink and suddenly it's already next week. Days blur together like copy paste version of yesterday. I keep wondering, is time really moving faster? Or am I just not noticing it the way I used to? It's strange how we grow up and everything speeds up, quietly, without warning. So today, I wanted to sit with this thought for a moment and ask, why does time feel so fast now? There's something quietly unsettling about realizing how fast time, moves now. When we were younger, every day felt like a story, something was always happening, a new friend, a new place, a new cartoon episode you couldn't wait for. Life had chapters, but now it feels like time is written in paragraphs without space. Everything is planned. Maybe that's why we feel like wasn't January just yesterday or wasn't 2020 last week, even though it wasn't. Years slip away not because they're short, but because they're similar. Wake up, eat, work, scroll, sleep, and repeat. It's almost scary how routine can compress an entire week into memory no thicker than a single line. Psychologists say time feels slower when everything is new, when your brain is busy learning, experiencing, or storing details. Childhood was full of first bicycle crash, first sleepover, first heartbreak, first time realizing math actually mattered. Our brain documented everything like a vlog. But adulthood, most days just feel like reruns of episodes we didn't ask to. Work screens look like yesterday, conversations repeat, weekday evaporate, there's less novelty, less detail to score, the brain compresses, memories it already understands. And suddenly, time feels fast not because it moves differently, but because we do less that our brain considers worth remembering. Think about last month. What stands out? Was there a day that felt different, or does it blur like a long hallway? Sometimes I replay the old days and they feel stretched, almost cinematic. The walk home from school felt long, weekends felt like tiny vacations, even boredom felt spacious. The present, however, passes in a blink and we only realize it after it's gone. Maybe that's why nostalgia hurts. It's not missing the past itself, it's missing the pace of life when we actually notice things. We multitask everything, we shower while planning our next task, we eat while watching videos, even resting has to be productive. We're constantly somewhere else mentally, rarely in the moment long enough to remember it. Present stretch time, absence compress it. Isn't it strange that as a kid we wanted to grow up fast, and now as adults we want everything to just slow down even a little bit? Sometimes I catch myself scrolling, looking up, and realizing an hour evaporate. Not lived, but just evaporate. We consume time like a background process. It goes on quietly while we're distracted. The brain didn't store anything memorable, so it shortens like a file compressed into a tiny icon. Maybe that's why time feels fast. Not because we're aging, but because we're noticing less. I remember one moment recently where time felt slow again. I was outside late afternoon, no phone, just walking. The air was warm, sky turning gold, people chatting in the distance. I can see a cat crossing the street, and for a moment I actually felt there, present. Seconds stretched, it reminded me of childhood summers, long, humid, endless. It's almost funny how doing nothing can stretch time more than trying to fill it. Maybe that's the hack, not to chase productivity, but to create moments we can feel. To introduce a little first back into the week. A new cafe, a different route home, a hobby learned slowly, with curiosity rather than urgency. Time expands when it stays, not rushed. There's a study that says daily novelty increases memory density, meaning the more new or meaningful a day is, of course, the longer it feels. That's why vacations feel longer than work weeks. More stimulation, more impressions. When you travel, even the supermarket feels interesting. When you go home after years, everything looks familiar but feels different. And that is the thing that we want, that noticing makes time stretch. Every day doesn't need to be a dramatic or life changing, but small breaks in routine, a morning walk without headphones, trying to cook something new, reading outside, watching the train instead of your phone. These tiny acts slow life down just enough for the brain to record it. Time is not your enemy, but if you forget about it, then it is. Sometimes I think about how memory works like a bookshelf. Childhood books are thin but full of pictures, bright, easy to remember. Adult years are thicker, heavier, and of course, mostly text. Pages blur, we flip one year after another faster, thinking the book got shorter when really we just stopped underlining things. So, how do we make life feel slower again? Maybe by pausing more, paying attention to mundane details like the sound of water boiling, the way morning lights hit your window, the smell of rain hitting pavement, maybe by doing something small for the first time again, like writing, painting, exploring, I don't know, just laughing at it. Maybe time isn't short, maybe we just stop moving like things are worth noticing. Sometimes I wonder if we'll look back at this age with the same longing as childhood, not because it was slow, but because someday it will feel slow in memory, even if it never felt slow while we're living it. Life is funny like that. The past feels slow and warm, the future feels fast and unclear. The present is the only place where time can actually be touched, but we rarely hold it long enough. So maybe the reason time feels so fast now isn't just your age, my age, it's our awareness. Childhood felt eternal because we were present. Now we're busy, distracted, constantly anticipating the next thing, always somewhere future forward in thought. We used to live days, but now we pass through them like usual. But slowing down doesn't need a dramatic lifestyle change. Just, a minute of silence before checking your phone in the morning, breathing deeply instead of rushing the day open, letting a moment be just a moment without needing to capture it or use it. Even this video, if you're listening right now, it's present. Mine here, time slows for just a second because you're here, not before, not after, just here with me. I think there's comfort in realizing we're not broken for feeling time slip. It means we're alive, moving forward, collecting years not as kids anymore, but as people growing, learning, transitioning. And maybe the real beauty is not slowing time down, but in choosing moments worth remembering. If a day feels like a blur, it's okay. Not every moment needs to be dramatic, but some moments deserve to be noticed, even small ones. Life is made of them. So the next time you feel time fly so fast, maybe just ask, what did I notice today? Because noticing is what turns a moment into memory, and memory is what stretches time in the first place. So maybe time isn't racing, maybe we're just rushing through it without noticing the details like we used to. And if that's true, then slowing down isn't about changing our whole life, but simply paying attention to small moments more often. A new memory, a quiet pause, and a day that feels a little different. If this thought sits with you the same way it sits with me, tell me in the comments. Does this, time feel fast for you too lately? I'd love to read your perspective. If you enjoy this calm reflection, feel free to like and subscribe for more, video like this. And yeah, that's all from me today. See you guys on the next video. Bye bye.